Alright, you guys. So, did you see the scans from our previous episode? That's really cool how she pretty much stayed in the same parameters for her chakra balance, but her body just started balancing itself out in other areas and other fashions. So, now in this episode, we're going to dive into doing a simple energetic healing, okay? Now, we're going to keep the stones exactly where they are, but what we're going to do is apply some Reiki. Now, I'm going to use some Quantum Reiki. If you have not taken the Quantum Reiki course, you can use any other style of Reiki you know. This is just a really basic understanding of how we're going to run it through. Now, this first technique is really just cleansing out the baseline chakras. Underneath this table, there is a massive piece of selenite. It's a tower that's about yay size, okay? So that right there is going to be amplifying and helping this whole entire structure and healing. So when I start off with energy healing, I'll just pick up whatever base frequency I know. So I'm going to start off at the heart chakra. And I usually go to the master key. If you're in the Grandmaster course, I'm using the 8th key. And all I do is I turn it on and I start interacting with the stone. Now first, I apply the energy that's from the Reiki on top of the stone, and I let the two energies interact with each other. And then once I usually feel like this density. Once I feel like that density kind of like evens out, because it does feel like a pressure that's like going up and down or like oscillating in different fashions. Once I feel like that's balanced out, I'll then go ahead and I'll set this intention of, thank you selenite stone for healing Shay, allowing this energy alchemy to interact with your natural properties. I'm grateful for you. And I usually love to touch after I feel like this really strong connection with that particular stone. I touch it. And I relax. And I can feel that my energy is being amplified through the stone, because we took that first step of saying, okay, we're going to let my baseline energy or your baseline energy interact with the stone. When they mix, then we show the stone gratitude for wanting to work with us. And then we finally touch it and we create this new alchemic variable that funnels through the system. All right? Take another deep breath. You too, take a deep breath, Shay. Now that I feel like that center, I feel like this orb is really focused all over her area. Now that I feel like that center is established and working properly, I'll move on to this next stone. Now, if you can see auras right now, or if you're doing the teleportation technique where we're in the same room right now together, you can see that there's a difference between this area right here and this area right here, because this is activated and running. The stone itself has a consciousness, right? So if we turned it on, we set it at a certain frequency, and we leave it running, it's like a battery. You really don't have to sit there funneling energy into it so that it works, okay? Now, there are some energy healers that feel like they have to do that. That's because you don't have an intimate relationship with your stones, okay? You need to understand that they're plants. And when I started off with talking with the selenite, I called it a selenite plant originally, because that's how I see them now in my mind. I don't see them as stones. They're a different form of plant, a different animal, essentially. So now it knows what I want. I gave it the energy. It's already interacting with her system how I want. And this was not on. There's like a very low density. There's nothing really running here. So I'm just going to do the same thing. If I want to use the same Reiki key that I wanted to use originally, I could. Or if the Reiki tells me to switch to a different variable, I'll just switch to a different variable. Take a deep breath. I usually tell my patient to take a deep breath at the same time that I take a deep breath, because when I do that, we're both linked and we're syncing our brain waves together so that we can be more engaged, not only with their system, but with how the stone is interacting with their system. You become more engaged even with the stone itself. Now, Shay, what do you like you just have to speak a little bit louder, but what do you feel in this area versus this area over here?
It kind of feels like, it feels kind of heavy, I guess would be an easy word to describe it. I almost can feel it in my hands too. Just more of a heavy. Where up here I feel more light, if that makes sense. But it's not like a bad heavy. It's just like you ask me what I feel, and I can kind of feel as if there's pressure of weight or of energy, of mass that's there. Make sense?
Mm-hmm. So did you feel me when I turned this stone on? Or did you not feel any difference?
No, I definitely felt something in my heart. Even when I wasn't even looking, but my heart rate sped up in that moment.
Okay. Taking a deep breath. Now I feel like these energies are as blended as possible. I'm going to go ahead. Thank this stone. I am so grateful for you healing Shay today. Thank you for helping me heal Shay today. I love you. You're amazing. And then go ahead, touch it. Taking in a deep breath. Now in my orientation where I place the stones, like I said, I put it at the root chakra, the heart chakra, a stone that's affecting the third eye, the crown, and then at the base of her feet to trigger her earth chakra, her earth star chakra. Now, if you had a ton of different kinds of selenite, you can place one on every chakra system and just repeat this pattern across each chakra. I'm not going to do that because I don't have enough pieces of selenite to do that. Now, while I'm still doing that, I want you to take another deep breath. If I still wanted to interact with these other chakras, I could. I don't have to always rely on the crystals. Now, the crystals help a lot. We know that selenite's purifying, okay? So the reason why I really focus on these chakras is because if you take my quantum Ankh theory class, you understand that like the Ankh really, the first baseline Ankh works off of the root chakra, the heart chakra, and the crown chakra. And that's exactly how these energies are circulating. There are other Ankh formulas right now that are in play with how I have the selenite tools laid on her. So I'm technically running 2 different Ankhs. Yep. And a third one in the baseline. So if you don't know what an Ankh is, it's a traditional healing shape. So if you don't know what an Ankh is, it's a traditional healing shape like this, basically. And you can just imagine that it's going through her system. It's very common in ancient Egyptian lore. Taking a deep breath. And you can continue healing her however you feel guided. If you wanted to heal the whole entire system, while these stones added a bonus, that's great. If you just wanted to focus a hand here on healing her and just kind of like move over, that's awesome. I normally do not like healing with two hands because your left side of your body is your yin side, your female side, so it absorbs a lot of energy. So I tend to only really heal with my right side. But under this circumstance, we know that selenite is a purifier. So even if I healed with my left hand is not going to absorb any negative energy if Shay had any negative energy. This goes for any patient. So because they're so big too, they're literally palm stones. I am taking them and I could hold my hands just like this, heal her, totally feel safe because I know the selenite is a great barrier that's cleaning me out and cleaning her at the same time. Then I'm amplifying energy. Take a deep breath. So what do you feel compared to me using one hand versus two hands? What does one hand feel like?
In comparison to what you were just doing before or to right now?
Right now I just changed to two hands.
I mean, there was a lot more. I almost felt like a circle. I was feeling it in multiple areas, kind of almost fighting with each other, where I was recognizing it more than others. But also felt back to this was kind of like this morning, so it felt very calming and almost like you took control over the system. I mean, it's not necessarily, I mean, you're amplifying the crystal, but now it feels like it's more you.
Okay. Do you feel like the crystal is still interacting with you?
Yes.
Okay.
It almost feels like it's shielded, and then it's so kind of, if there's a picture of it, I would say it looked like there was a drawing of the selenite kind of like shielded and protected all the way around the body, and then your energy kind of like started to like amplify it, like moving through the threads of the selenite through the whole body now. Like I almost feel like I'm wearing like a veil of selenite.
Okay, that's great. Okay, because I wasn't really sure. Like, okay, are you saying that I'm impacting you more than the selenite, or is like we've both created like
this like outfit of selenite? It feels like.
Okay. Cool. Is there anything running through your mind?
No.
Okay. So you feel really comfortable?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So this is a baseline instruction on how to do crystal healing. Now, there's a ton of different ways you could do it. You could do like a per chakra. You could start from the top of the head or the root chakra. You can do it based off of intention if you're told to go from here to here to here to here. However it's necessary. Now, for you to be able to like expand more of these skills, you can always take my Quantum Reiki course, which starts really diving into that.
And I would also highly recommend, if even hearing that Quantum Reiki class sounds intriguing to you, taking that class, especially for anyone who's Reiki practitioners out there. This Quantum Reiki really, really amps up the energy moving through you, the symbols, the whole entire Quantum Reiki class is definitely worth it.
Hello, everyone. All right, so I'm going to show you what happened before and after Shay's crystal healing with some Quantum Reiki, and I think you're going to love it. So on the left is when we were healing Shay. On the right is after the healing. We see that at the top of her crown chakra, she had a hole right there that gets patched up. On the right side after, we see that there's an imbalance here on this corner side right here. That gets patched up as well. Lots of evening out of energy there. And let's look at the female side, the left side. we see that she had some holes right here. That gets patched up very easily. She had some deterioration, distortion here. That gets amplified, filled up, and so it's pushing itself through. This looks like a little bit of a detox from whatever was hiding in this area. As you can see that there's a line right there that kind of like cuts out. That's some sort of toxic energy that she had to pull out of herself. Same thing with the front side. It's about the right about size here. Now, let's see. We end up seeing that the crystal was placed at her heart chakra. This is before her heart chakra, and this is after her heart chakra. This is also where the stone was being placed in this area. And you can see the differences of the energy, right? Then let's look at the male side, the right side. We definitely see that there's a little bit of distortion in the lower chakra right here. Something was being pulled out, but underneath the table there is this massive selenite lamp that was also portraying. So this could have just been the selenite lamp being amplified with all the quantum reiki and pulling that energy outward. Okay, very cool stuff here. Now sorry, let's look at the chakras more correctly really fast. Here's her previous energy field, the orange line on all spectrums. It's kind of low in certain areas, and after it gets really filled up, more amplified, more active. We know that the crystal was healing her. Great. This is before with all of her chakras, and then this is after, all right? That's just applying the crystal, talking to the crystal, using quantum reiki with the crystal, and we see that her chakras not only were about the same in wattage each time, they started getting really, really amplified. And this is just really like aligned. Sorry. This is part of just like what, a 15-minute healing that I did on her. And you can hear her experiences of how she felt it. She's also taken the quantum reiki class. So it's very interesting just to see what happens with her energy. So the orange line is her area diagram before and after. The purple line is after. We see that a lot of that energy that was in the orange sections starts getting outward into the green sections. We definitely healed her. Now what happened to her energy? Let's see. Her energy is the orange line. This is after we stabilized some more of it. She was definitely in a relaxed state, but she had it going on. So now you know how crystal reiki works. If you imagine using it for more than 15 minutes at a time, you can only imagine how much of a clearing this is, right? This was all like about like 10 to 15 minutes of me doing this healing with the stones, all the stones being amplified with it. But an hour's worth of this treatment would really balance out not only all these holes that are inside of her chakra system, it would make sure that if she was in any areas that were still not totally clear, like I wouldn't like this thyroid area to be in that area, I would want it to be more in the green area, you could apply it. An hour would definitely do that. Okay, so part of it is not only knowing the stone that you are working with and actually building a relationship with that stone, like I taught you with the selenite crystal connection video, but it's also understanding how stones work with energy and without energy. And that's why the selenite placement video was all about teaching you, hey, this is what happens when you just place a stone in someone's areas and you leave it alone and you don't do anything else. Then we apply quantum reiki, and quantum reiki really starts showing us, whoa, like there's something, we're bringing out a property of the stone that normally was not there. And you also understand the alchemist is the heaviest portion of the treatment themselves, right? Because when we put the crystal down and you think about, all right, well, let's see what happens. Any result can happen. When the alchemist is now applying their energy with the stone, the alchemist knows that they're going to trigger an effect from the stone, and that effect will be stronger than you just sitting by idly waiting for a result. Your perception really does manipulate the results that end up coming out of the healing itself, right? The more confident you are with your healing, the more confident you are with your stones, because you know what each stone actually equates to. Like I've done experiments which they're ridiculous, where I can show people in real time, I'll grab like a massive geode that I have in my room, grab all the energy, drag it into somebody's body, and they'll they'll feel something like that, right? And it's because I know the sheer power that's inside of my geode. Not only do I know the sheer power of it, but I've meditated with it. I've taken the time to do extensive research on like, how does it interact with the physical body? How does it interact with the emotional body? How does it interact with whatever it is that you're looking for to have that be part of your system? It's just like when I teach you in Quantum Reiki, you need to know your keys like your friends. Because if you don't, you're not going to be able to really expand your energy practice. And if you have too many expectations, then you're not going to be able to pull out the most out of the energy practice. If you don't know what you're doing because you don't know your tools, you're going to have the same exact experience. So this is one of those things I really wanted to leave with you guys here. And I will see you in the next episode. Comment, share, and yeah, subscribe. Duh. I want to hear all about your experiences. Tell me. In the next video that we're going to do, we're going to see what happens when we use selenite and the first neurocode. All right, I'll see you there.